first equation, x squared minus 11x equals 0, we see that there are two terms in this equation, which means we cannot use AC method. We cannot use the method that we use to factor x squared plus bx plus c or x squared plus bx plus c. But looking at the two terms, we have x squared minus 11x, and we can make use of the GCF in this case in order to factor the left side of this equation. In that case, we have to factor x squared minus 11x first. So we begin by factoring x squared. What are the factors of x squared? We have xx and 11x, our second term in that equation. The factors are 11 and x. 11 is not factorable because it's a prime number. So if we look at the GCF here, we look at the common factor in each term. What's common to xx and 11x? X. So that means that our GCF here is x. We factor out x. And then to get the other factor inside, we divide each term by x. X squared divided by x is x, and negative 11x divided by x, we have negative 11, and that will be equal to 0. And now that we have these factors in your left side, x squared minus 11x, we can now set each factor to 0. First factor here is x. Set that to 0, and the second factor, x minus 11, set that also to 0. We don't have to solve x equals 0 because it's already x equals 0. So that means that our first value for x is 0. Next value, we can solve it using x minus 11. So we get rid of 11 plus 11 plus 11 both sides. So we can get rid of that, cancel out negative 11 plus 11, 0. We bring down x and we have 11. So there are two values of x here, which will be our solution set. So we can write here s equals 0 and 11. These are your solutions for this equation, x squared minus 11x equals 0. You can check the values of x here, 0 and 11, by replacing x by 0 or 11, and you must be able to satisfy the equation. Okay, and so checking here is optional. You can actually replace x in your head and try to evaluate. Say your x 0 squared is 0 minus 11 times 0, 0, right? You can also check that with 11. That's optional. So you may or may do that. Now let's look at number 2. 5x squared plus 3x equals 0. What's our GCF for 5x squared plus 3x in number 2? We can get the prime factors of 5x squared. What are these? For 5x squared, you have 5. X squared is xx. How about 3x? That's 3 times x. What's your GCF there? What's your common factor? We only have x, right? So that means our GCF here is x. So we factor out x and then get the other factor by dividing each term by our GCF x. So what's inside? 5x squared divided by x? 5x. And then 3x divided by x plus 3 equals 0. There are two factors, and you have to set each factor to 0 in order to solve for x. First up, x equals 0, or 5x plus 3 equals 0. We don't have to solve this, right? Because you already have x there. Which one? It's 0. But we need to solve for 5x plus 3. What's x there? This is linear equation, so we have to use the properties of equality to solve for x. We must get rid of 3 first. Minus 3 both sides. So we have 5x equals -3. Divide both sides by 5. Now x is equal to -3/5. Therefore, our solution set would be the set -3/5, 0. Right. So these are our solutions in the equation. 5x squared plus 3x.